We believe in women's equality, that women should have the same rights and opportunities as men. But do we believe in feminine equality? Do we believe that the feminine is equal to the masculine? Or do we believe that the masculine is inherently more capable and therefore superior? We've been conditioned to believe that since men and women are different, they must be opposites. So for every assigned masculine trait, the feminine will have the opposite trait. Our rule of opposites plays nicely into the doctrine of two spheres, which tells us that masculine traits are necessary for success in the public sphere. Therefore, feminine traits must have little to no value there and should be cast off to the public sphere. In the early 2000s, we tried to change this and assert that our feminine traits, especially our stereotyped emotional traits, have value in the workplace. However, when we formed a relationship with Tom and Mary, understood who they are and what they were feeling, we learned we didn't know how to solve their problems, how to produce more customers, or make more money for our workplace. To be of value to Tom, Mary, or our workplace, we needed masculine skills. Our experiment just reinforced our belief that the feminine is inherently inferior, less capable, and less valuable. It proved that for women to achieve anything near equality in the workplace, we have to lose our femininity. By masculinizing women, we create a superior form of woman. Many of us accept that the feminine can never achieve equality with the masculine. But is that really true, or just what we choose to believe? Men told us that we needed masculine traits to excel in the workplace, and since we weren't working alongside them in the same jobs, we didn't know any better, so we just accepted what they told us. Unlike many women of my generation, I was encouraged to pursue a masculine education and career path. So in the workplace, I got to witness masculinity in action, and I was surprised by what I discovered. Masculinity didn't set an incredibly high standard. It created chaos, crisis management, and inefficiency. But even more surprising was how much the masculine relied on the feminine to keep the workplace organized, ensure work flowed smoothly, and got done on time. No one advertised that the feminine played such an important role in the workplace. Instead, we applied the rule of opposites to downplay it and say that the feminine was best suited for administrative and clerical roles. Even women who came into the workplace with a masculine education were diverted to designated feminine roles. We acknowledged that the feminine excelled in school and academic environments, which then meant it couldn't excel in the workplace. We're stuck on this idea that the masculine and feminine are separate and opposing opposites. But that's not the only way to see opposites. Opposites can also be complementary. As complementary opposites, the masculine and feminine are each one half of the whole. They are meant to balance each other and work together in harmony to create wholeness. So why, in all of our modern thinking, do we still choose to define the masculine and feminine through the stereotypes and refuse to accept that they have other traits that make them equal as complementary opposites? Historically, the masculine and feminine worked in wholeness because they worked together in or around the home. They influenced each other to balance and share the work, so work that had to get done was done in the most efficient and effective manner. The Industrial Revolution changed our natural dynamic as men left home to work and women remained in the home to work. Masculinity dominated the public sphere and discovered that without the feminine, it was free to do what it wanted, the way it wanted, because there was no feminine voice to contradict it. Masculinity had autonomy and liked it. To keep their autonomy, men declared that the workplace needed masculine traits capable of doing hard, dangerous work and bearing the burden of huge responsibilities. The feminine was too delicate for that. Sure, it could do simple work that aligned with its nurturing, caring, and empathetic nature. However, true femininity was elevated above the drudgeries and hardships of life. It was cultured and elegant. Femininity was upheld as a cultural aspiration that bestowed women with a life of privilege. For a while, everyone was happy. Masculinity gave men their autonomy, and femininity gave women their privilege and the right to transfer many personal responsibilities to masculine care. And even though this made women dependent, femininity promised generations of women and more classes of women that they too could become ladies of leisure. We soon discovered, however, that our feminine privileged lifestyle didn't give us a sense of purpose or develop our self-worth. We blamed the feminine. But is femininity really at fault? Or does the real blame lie with the choices we made? Women in the 19th and early 20th century knew the value of the feminine, so they fought for our rights and equality. They knew that with rights comes responsibility, and they wanted the feminine to be more responsible for our lives, government, and society. But after World War II, we turned off their path. We chose feminine privilege over feminine responsibility. The masculine encouraged women to accept their feminine privilege in order to disempower the feminine. The masculine has always known that the feminine is its complementary equal and a force that could limit its power. The feminine is responsible for tempering masculine self-interest and the dark consequences of too much masculine power. The feminine is a source of virtue as she possesses wisdom and has the strength of moral courage. She embodies all of our higher ideals, values, and aspirations, and is the fierce defender of freedom, liberty, and justice. When we empower the feminine, we create healthy souls of good moral character who live an honorable life and support the greater and common good in the workplace, government, and society. The feminine has never been weak or incapable. We just chose to forget about its strength, value, and power. We chose to keep the masculine superior so we could keep our feminine privilege, and then hopefully use it for equal opportunity without equal responsibility. As women choosing to work in the public sphere, we have to think about how much we want to masculinize in order to have better opportunities. We accept that our femininity means we can never achieve real equality. But that's okay. We have feminine privilege, so we don't need the same experience and responsibilities for the same opportunities. Our feminine privilege demands we have equity. Unfortunately, though, we're forgetting our historical lessons about the consequences of devaluing the feminine. When we diminish the feminine, refuse feminine responsibility, and encourage women to masculinize, we lose support for the greater and common good. We empower masculinity and self-interest. Without balance and harmony, there's more crises, chaos, inefficiency, corruption, crime, injustice, inequality, poverty, extreme behavior, mental illness, and substance abuse. Without the feminine, we can't have healthy and effective people, families, communities, workplaces, societies, or governments. If we want to fix what's wrong with the world, then we need to empower the feminine. And the responsibility for that rests solely with women. So the question we need to ask ourselves isn't as much, do we believe in feminine equality? The real question is, are we willing to give up our feminine privilege and accept our feminine responsibilities so we can exercise our rights and equality? To learn more about the power and influence of the feminine, watch these videos. This is Dot Callahan asking you to help me turn the woman in the room into the women in the room. Sign up for my newsletter, subscribe to my YouTube channel, or follow the Woman in the Room on social media. It's up to you. Just keep watching and sharing my videos to get advice from a woman who's been there, dealt with that, and knows what works.